Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going over everything I carry in my Jeep, which I consider to be safety or recovery gear. That's everything from my saw to my first aid kit, my jack, winch accessories. We're talking about everything. Now, before we get started, this is not the end-all be-all of safety recovery gear, okay? You can talk to a million different people and you'll get a million different opinions about what you should carry. This is just what I carry in my basic kit for my solo travels. Now, if you guys are interested in picking up anything you see here today, I will leave product links in the video description down below. Also, try to link some relevant videos to some of my previous installs, but otherwise, yeah, let's get it done. The first thing we're going to take a look at is my Warn VR EVO 12S winch. The VR series is sort of the middle of the road in the Warn lineup. This is a 12,000 pound winch with the synthetic line. You can see I've paired it with this really nice matching Factor 55 FlatLink E. This is not a must, I just think it looked really nice and it matched the Jeep, so I went with it. Now, some things you want to keep in mind with winches is that this by itself is a decent recovery tool, but you're gonna need other things to really utilize all of its capabilities. You know, it's not just as easy as running out with your Fairlead and tying a knot around a tree. That's not how it works. You know, you're gonna need shackles, preferably soft over bow nowadays, tree savers, snatch blocks, you know, possibly extensions, all kinds of things. So those, you know, you definitely wanna keep that in mind when buying a winch. There are gonna be other costs on top of just the winch. And as far as costs go, it does not need to be a Warn winch. Warn is probably the industry leader, I would say, but I would say it's far better to be out there with a Smittybilt or, you know, Rugged Ridge or, you know, Badlands. Apex from Harbor Freight is a great choice. I recommend those people all the time. It's better than having nothing. And as we move back through the Jeep, in a few, I'll show you what all I carry to make this winch work. All right, going through the engine bay, something I carry that's huge to me is this ARB twin air compressor. This thing is absolutely amazing. I also carry an extension line with it and then, you know, basic tools to air up tires. Once again, doesn't have to be an ARB. These things are just so nice. They last forever. They're just reliable, you know, they just work and they're fast. Moving to the passenger side of the engine bay, we have our Genesis dual battery system with dual Odyssey Extreme batteries. This thing is absolutely awesome. Before I switched to my lithium house battery, I had pretty much all of my 12-volt devices hooked up to here. I still have my winch and a couple other things. Please don't pay attention to my mess of wires. But yeah, this thing's really nice. Honestly, long term, now that I have my lithium house battery installed, if I could do it over again, I'd probably just upgrade to one single battery and maybe add an isolator to the house battery. But when I installed this years ago, it was absolutely clutch. I really love this thing. It saved me from having a dead battery a couple times now, yeah. All right, moving into our Jeep, on both the passenger and driver's side, you might have seen the video I made about these, but I have a Maglite mounted on each seat. So if you need to get out at night, you need something for, you know, safety or security, or I mean, hey, if someone's coming after you and you need something, these things are great. And this Maglite, this is the ML300LX. This thing is super bright. That ain't your grandpappy's Maglite. All right, next, moving up, something that is tiny but kind of huge is my Garmin InReach Mini. I do pay for the monthly service for this. I think it's like $16. I had a spot locator before this. You know, I have no preference really. This one just has better connectivity with your cell phone and the messaging, so I really like it. I keep it mounted right up here with some 67 Design stuff on this high-vis Overland Highline dock. And then you can see I keep it pretty much plugged in and charging at all times in my Ursa Minor top. That guy right there. And then, of course, we have the iPad on another 67 Designs mount. I'm just gonna get in here. And this is awesome. You know, this just basically lets me see where I'm at. You know, keeps my navigation going. Gaia is awesome. If you don't have it, I highly recommend it. And then next to that, I keep a set of these really nice rugged radios. And then you can see I have the other one right there, just above the passenger's seat. And this one has the mic. I do use the Rugged Ridge mount. It works really well. You'll find some, I don't know, I would say some mixed reviews on these. Like hardcore ham operators absolutely hate these things. They think they're like a sin, but you know, if you want something that's just plug and play, ready to go, I can't recommend them enough. I don't use them all that often, but when I do, they're really handy. The last thing that I would say is more for security is this, let me see if I can get it to focus a little bit better, is this owl cam, which I've had for quite a while now. And I would definitely say this is more of a security item. It basically allows me to see what's going on in my Jeep in real time over an app on my cell phone. And then it's also, I don't know how well you can tell, and it's also constantly streaming. So anytime the ignition key turns on, this starts recording and also streaming. And it has an outside and inside facing camera, so it's really nice. Coming around to the passenger side, you can see I have a pair of binoculars. These are always handy. These are always hanging off of either my passenger or driver's seat. Right here we have a Front Runner 5-gallon Jerry. This is mainly for washing and showering, but in a pinch I could filter it and use it for extra drinking water. Okay, coming up we have a couple of fire extinguishers on quick releases. You know, heaven forbid there is a fire, I could just, you know, come back to the passenger seat, hopefully grab that, or if I'm at my rear kitchen area cooking, I can grab that guy. Okay, and then moving underneath the floor, there's actually kind of a lot going on here. This compartment, see, we have the 40% delete over here. This is the 60%. This is basically my garage. And then if I can reach the rear cubby, this is where I keep like my NOCO battery and then a lot of my recovery gear. Between these two compartments, there's kind of a lot going on. So I think what I'm gonna do is just pull it all out, and then we're gonna put it on the tailgate table right there, and we'll take a look at all of it. All right, so I got everything out and put together, and there's kind of a little bit more going on here than I thought. So let's just kind of go through one compartment at a time. So in the rear garage compartment, we have our worn winch controller. I have this old platypus water filter bag that I use for it. We have some extra rope. Rope is good for all kinds of things. This is basically just like, you can see it's like a little, you know, thing of some P cord that has a lot of different uses. Okay. I don't carry any extra parts for the Jeep in the Jeep except for a spare serpentine belt. If this thing goes, there's no, you know, way of getting around it unless you have a spare. I've had it happen, so that's why I have one now. Tire plug kit. This thing has probably been used more than anything else in this Jeep. I've plugged about a half a dozen tires, once for myself, and then all the rest were just people who I stumbled upon, and they were super grateful. So I absolutely love this thing. It was a few bucks on Amazon, but totally worth it. I also have these Colby emergency tire valves. Never had to use them. I saw Marco on the Trail Recon channel had those, and I was like, oh man, those are so cool. So I had to have some. Super basic kit, yeah. You don't have one, if you have an air compressor and you don't have one of these, like, what are you doing with your life? Yeah. All right. The BFW, you can figure out what that stands for. This is my big wrench. This has lots of uses. Big one is tightening jam nuts. If you don't have a wrench big enough for all your nuts, then, you know, come on. Oh, this is probably my heaviest and most important piece of recovery and yeah, pretty much recovery gear. This is my Atlas 46 Yorktown tool roll. This is my basic Jeep toolkit. This has every tool in it, or, you know, whatever I need in it to pretty much, I could take this Jeep apart down to, like, you know, I don't know, the frame with this thing, okay? There's only one bolt underneath the head that I can't take off. It's like a 37 millimeter or something, and the biggest size is a 36. Love that thing. They're super well reviewed. People have had these for years. I mean, I've, you know, beat up mine. I have a whole garage full of like nice Snap-on tools, and this is my go-to now. I don't even know why I have my other tools anymore. All I use are these cheap ones. All right. My Sawyer water filter. This thing is rad. If it looks new, it's because it is. I had one before, I put a hole in the bag, so I just ordered a new set. It's really nice though. Use the little Sawyer water filter. This has two 1-gallon bags, so you can pretty much just fill the one bag and then let it trickle down, hang it. Easiest way to filter a gallon of water. I've taken this through the Sierras or something similar, and all the PCT thru hikers were just looking at me so jealous. All right, gloves. I actually carry a couple set of gloves. These are basic mechanics tool gloves. If you have a winch and you're gonna be working with, you know, heavy objects or metal tools, you should probably have some gloves. Whoop, stuck my magnet. Breaker bar. This is good for so many things. You know, pretty much though, just getting off big stuck bolts. Should have one of those. All right, winch line dampener. This is the Warn. A lot of people make these. Doesn't matter which one you have as long as you have one. If you don't have one, you can use some other things in place of it. Like I've seen people use heavy jackets, backpacks. You know, I've never used it honestly, but if I do, probably be glad I have it. All right, airline. This is actually an ARB airline. It goes along with our ARB air compressor. See, we have like a simple air chuck on there. Pretty self-explanatory. Red rag. If you've worked around a garage, you know what those are for. All right, this is, oh gosh. This is my big recovery rope. This is a 30-foot Bubba rope, I believe. It's the 7/8 by 30 foot, and it has a 28,600 pound braking strength. This is actually cheaper than the Factor 55. You'll notice I have like a ton of Factor 55 stuff, but at the end of the day, when things are about equal, you know, I don't know. I'm not that brand loyal. Really nice though, very nice. Okay, this is either a 6 or 8 foot tree saver. Let's see, not sure. I know it's on there somewhere. Anyways, more Factor 55 stuff. Once again, if you're gonna have a winch and other tools, you know, or accessories to use with it, you're gonna need things like tree savers, or you know, this could also be used as an extension strap. So yeah, good to have. All right, another smaller tree saver. This is basically more for if you wanted to, you know, connect around someone's bumper, or you know, some other small object, you know, some type of fixed point, or maybe a very small tree. Hopefully not a small tree though. You'd want something a little bit girthier, but you know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Just gives me one more option. It's also something, these straps can be used like for redirects if you have like a snatch block. This is the Factor 55 rope retention pulley. I did have a big, heavy Warn snatch block that's really nice. This is just so much lighter. And if you're gonna use one of these, you do need to have one of the standard duty Factor 55 soft shackles. You cannot use the extreme duty or heavy duty, or whatever these are called. Once again, I don't even carry bow shackles anymore. I just have these guys. They're really nice. They're super lightweight. Yeah, good stuff. All right, this guy is basically just a hitch, you know, mounting point. So I already have this step in place. Really, this is not for me. This is if I encounter someone who doesn't have any other anchor points on the rear of their vehicle, I could pretty much insert this, because you see I have multiple redundant points, so it just doesn't make any sense. But you know, thought it'd be good to have just in case. I've never had to use it. Hopefully I won't ever, but it, you know, it's that nice matching red, so I like it. Okay, and then last but not least, we have my NOCO battery bank. This is another, you know what, I consider this essential at this point. It comes with the charging cable, little car adapter. Let's get those out of the way. These are the clips and wires that go into it, but this thing is amazing. I've used this, once again, you know, probably half a dozen times, never for myself, but I've encountered many people, you know, co-workers, random people. Actually, where I am right now, I had some people walk up to me at midnight and wake me up, asking if I had a jump, well, which was brave on their part, but anyways. So this thing, there we go, stores enough power for, gosh, I don't know how many you know, vehicle jumps. And you can see it also uses a USB battery bank, and then that's the charging port. Okay, And then that's where your cables connect. And then this thing is just so much easier and better and compact than carrying a set of jumper cables. Like, I think my mom has one of these, or if she doesn't, I'm getting her one for Christmas. This is actually a great gift for anyone you know. Yeah, just absolutely love this thing. Comes in a little bag. They sell like multiple different sizes for like different sizes of vehicles. Like if you have a giant, diesel pusher or something, like they have a big old bank for it. So yeah, absolutely 100% recommend. All right, and then if we move up, you might have seen this guy. This is my MyMedic first aid kit. So this thing, full disclosure, MyMedic did send this to me. I had a first aid kit which was pretty much similar to it, but it like a coyote, flat dark earth color. And they emailed me out of the blue and they said, hey, would you like to try out one of our first aid kits? And I said, yeah, sure, why not, Now, when I initially opened it up, coming from the perspective of someone who is like a professional, first responder, I opened it up and I thought, oh, there's a lot of like, gimmicky stuff in here, like, lots of pretty packages. But as I went through it, there is some pretty decent stuff in here. Like if you're just a normal person who needs a pretty decent first aid kit, this isn't a bad choice. But of course, if you're gonna carry a first aid kit, make sure you know how to use the equipment that's inside of it. Very important, get some basic first aid training, because this is one of those things you don't want to need to use it, but you want to know how to use it when the time comes. So yeah, I keep that right there at the rear of the Jeep, very easy access. And then if we go up, you can see this is where, once again, I made a video previous on my high lift jack mount. Yes, that is aluminum foil. I use the Dominion off-road mount, and this thing is super, super great for storing a high lift jack. And then you can see I have an axe back there, and then we have I think this is like the Bully brand or something. I absolutely love this shovel. I've had it for a couple of years now. I used to keep it on the outside of my Jeep. No one ever stole it. And yeah, it just works. I love it. Could also make a good self-defense tool in a pinch. And then also along with that, since it's winter time, I am carrying my little black diamond. What is this? The Deploy 3. This is actually my winter backpacking shovel, but it works great for snow. So yeah, I've been carrying it around. All right. And last but not least, we have this compartment right here, and this carries a few things. All right, here is our rear cubby, and then here's everything I keep inside of it. So starting from left to right, you'll notice I got rid of my factory jack, and you may have heard of Safe Jack. Well, they sell these really nice kits with like a bottle jack and like I don't know, half dozen different extensions and everything, but it's like $300. And I thought that was a lot of money. So what I did was I went on Amazon and I bought this jack for like, I think like, I don't know, something ridiculous, like 20 bucks. And it came with the handle right there. And then I went on the Safe Jack site and I bought this, I believe this is a 6-inch extension for like 40 bucks. And then I bought this for like 40 bucks. And with this guy and this guy, I can get up to the side frame rails of the Jeep and I can easily lift the axle high enough to change a tire. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but a high lift jack is not meant for changing tires, okay? You're gonna need something like like that crappy scissor jack that comes with the Jeep, or a better solution. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. And this was like, I think it was like $100 alternative to like a $300 kit with a bunch of parts I didn't need. But anyways, moving on. This is pretty much just, you have like a hitch. It's just an easy. I really like this one because it's really fast like that. Okay, we have a couple extra lug nuts. Hopefully you never need those, but oh man. I actually need to put this up in the Jeep. This is a vehicle and aircraft grade CO2 detector. If you spend a lot of time in your Jeep or live out of it part-time like I do, that's something good to have. I actually need to put that up. I'm gonna do that today. Okay, a couple of ratchet straps. These have a million uses. Hopefully you don't need them for any of them. All right, once again, another red rag, another pair of gloves. These are actually somewhat fireproof, so I can use these for a lot of different things. Like if I need to move the solo stove around, or if I just need some really heavy gloves, those are my go-to. Okay, and then this guy is my silky big boy folding saw. This is the, what is this? The Silky Big Boy 2000 360. You know what? I really like this thing. This thing absolutely blows through wood. I love it. Like if you had a tree down or something and you needed to, you know, get it off the road and cut it apart so that you could winch it out of the way, man, this thing's money. All right, and then, okay, simple. We have a bungee cord. All right, and then probably, let's see, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, most important, when I was helping my mom move recently, I found my nunchucks when I was little. This is probably my #1 self-defense tool right here. I'm working on it. I may or may not have hit myself in the face with this. Whatever. All right, I do have extra propane, and then of course, you saw my video on my fuel carrier, so we can get some focus going here. I do carry 5 extra gallons of fuel, which actually has saved me in a pinch. I don't always keep extra fuel in there, and when I do, it's only a couple of gallons because 5 gallons is a lot, but yeah, when you need it, awesome. All right, I think that's just about everything. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. It takes a lot of stuff to go out and be, you know, self-reliant. Most of my travels are by myself, so I might carry a little bit more than some people. Like say you had a group, you could easily split all this gear among several people. You know, not everybody has to have this full load out every time. All right guys, well I hope you like what I showed you here today. As I said, this is not the end all be all of recovery gear. This is just the basic stuff, which is kind of a lot that I carry for my solo travels. All right, if you made it this far, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and yeah, if you have any comments, leave them down below. I love talking to you guys, and see you later.